Joined now by Coach Miller. We'll start with questions for Coach Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star. You're up first.
Coach, obviously a tough loss, but I think one of the best things for you guys to come out of this game was how Ben Mathurin responded to getting benched. How do you think he played tonight?
Well, really, Justin, I think our entire team played a great game. Obviously we were down 19-2, and I think a lot of that had to do with, Colorado came out playing with a lot of energy, a lot of physicality, and, they've had a week to kind of sit and wait on us, and they were ready. But when you're down 19-2 on the road and you're coming off of maybe our worst overall performance of the year, and I don't say that in any disrespect towards Utah. Utah, they beat us, but we just went quietly away the other night, and it was disappointing. That really hasn't been the personality of our team this year. But tonight, win or lose, I couldn't be happier or prouder of a group of guys. Again, down 19-2, we were right there to win the game. Now, we made a couple poor decisions maybe at the end. But again, you have to remember the inexperience. It's just having so many younger guys out there in this crucial period of time. The foul when the ball's out of bounds, quarter court, game tied. If you're going to foul, you want them to foul. You want to foul on the last second shot, right? But and then we ran in almost the play before that defensively, where we gave them a game tying three. At that point, you have to recognize up three. Stay at home. And I wish I would have done a better job in the timeout and just explaining that before we went out there. But when you give those errors, you make those errors. Colorado still has to make the plays, and they made the free throws, they made the threes, and they're a good team. Yeah, they really are. We lost to an excellent team on the road here in February, but that's how we play. I thought that was in some segments maybe the best overall basketball that we've played this year. And unfortunately, when you dig yourself a 19-2 hole, you do have something to overcome. And but I'm proud of our guys.
And with that, you said, it was one of the better games that you guys have played in some spots. What do you think you need to improve on to make sure that you guys are able to pull off a game like this?
Just being really consistent for all 40 minutes. I'd say the first 8 to 10 minutes of the first half, obviously heavily favored Colorado. It would be beneficial, obviously, to us to, play the way we played from that 10-minute mark of the first half all the way to the final buzzer. But there's no denying our effort level. There's no denying our togetherness. There was no denying our offensive play or our defensive play. I thought we executed. We played with a tremendous effort. And look, we have some holes. We're not a perfect team. And our defense, again, a couple times in the last 4 minutes, last 6 minutes, if we were able to get a defensive stop, create a turnover, play the possession without fouling, we leave here with, a great victory. But we weren't really able to do that. And then, we had a couple of things on offense, could have been a foul, could have been an and one. The referees did a good job from the start to finish. It was a physical game. They recognized it, and they refed a fine game. But, at the end, you always think about that one play. Was that a foul? Was that not a foul? And we were right there. Could have won the game, but didn't.
And what do you say to a guy like Terrell Brown, who had a big opportunity at the game, but couldn't do it? But like you said, defensive stops was really what made you guys lose this game.
Yeah, you win as a team and you lose as a team. I look at the overall. We were 18 of 23 from the foul line. And, we did a good job making quite a few. James Akinjo went 8 for 8 from the line. And obviously we got there. Same thing with 3-point shooting. At the end of the night, 7 for 17 is a pretty good percentage. Unfortunately, when you play Colorado, they are so efficient from the 3-point line. There was a time in the first half where, they were just making kind of one-on-one threes, not threes off of an action, but just, shooting with great confidence and making them. But, they made 12 threes against us at home, and they made 11 threes on the road. And both games were hard fought. We won the game at home, but didn't have quite enough to finish this one. But in no way are we or am I disappointed. I mean, you get into February and you come up here on this trip, losing the way we did to Colorado. Look, we will try to win every game, but there's a lot of valuable lessons we can pull from it. There's a lot of confidence you can gain from it. And like I mentioned, some of our errors or maybe mistakes down the stretch because of who's in the game, it's a learning opportunity so that the next time they won't make that mistake.
Thank you.
Steve Rivera, you're up next.
Yeah, Sean, how was practice yesterday after Thursday's tough loss emotionally? And you got him to respond again, although it took a little long. It took him a little bit longer than you probably wanted.
Yeah, I mean, our guys really responded, Steve. We had good practice. We had a couple of really tough film sessions. We had a big meeting, but I think really started to drill down on roles. What is your role on our team? What is your role as part of our program? Mm-hmm. And it's like we have so many new faces. So February represents a different challenge. It's there's a lot of teams playing for a lot. Colorado's an example. So is Utah. And I didn't think we were quite ready for that on Thursday. We were much more ready for that on Saturday. And look, when you play 2 games in 3 days, and the team you play on game 2 hasn't played a game all week, that in no way in my mind is that to our advantage. So I also thought we really did a good job with those odds against us as well. But McKinley Wright, we played against him a lot over 4 years. He's one of the top players in college basketball. I thought Colorado came out of the gates really ready to play, and they're a good basketball team. And but I liked our effort. I wish we could have left with a win, but I'd much rather get on a plane with the team that we have today than we were on Thursday. Thursday almost needed to happen for us to maybe be better tonight.
Would that meeting have occurred any normal season? Would that have occurred maybe earlier in the year, or just circumstances where it's required now or yesterday?
No, I mean, every season has its ebb and flow. I mean, one of the keys to our team is we've been a very consistent group. I mean, we've not been shut down because of COVID. I hope I don't jinx our team. As you guys know, we could have a problem as soon as this evening or tomorrow. But you got to give us credit. I mean, we've been at this for a long time. Our guys have really done a great job. Maybe we've been fortunate, but the protocols that we've had in place, we've done that well. We've practiced hard. We've certainly not a perfect group, very inexperienced, have a lot of new faces, but we've played together. We've played hard. We played some very good basketball this year. The Utah game entered a different phase for us. And although, in some other games, maybe we weren't able to finish as well, we came unglued against Utah. And it was good to see us repair. Looking at 2 of our freshmen, Azuolas, he was 7 for 11 from the floor. He had 18 points, maybe didn't rebound the ball like he usually does, but he played at a pretty high level for a freshman in a game like tonight. And then, Ben, he responded. He was 7 for 9 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, 22 points, and he did a good job. I think he took some ownership of some things that we really challenged him, and he responded. But when those 2 guys play that way, we're a much, much better team, and hopefully we can continue it moving forward.
Thanks.
Bruce Pasco, you're up next.
When you talked about, the other day about not having fight in them at Utah. From what you're saying, I mean, do you think they had it at the beginning? It just wasn't showing because of the way Colorado was playing early, or did you find something really clicked with this team maybe after the first 8 minutes or so?
Yeah, no, I credit Colorado. I mean, they're physical, they're older, they're together, experienced. They also are coming off of a very tough loss in their last outing a week ago against Utah. Sure, they've had a spirited week of practice, and they came out playing. I mean, they made threes. They were physical. They took us out of it. And one thing that happened during that stretch is they fouled us a lot. And then we got the benefits of those fouls really the last 10 minutes of the first half. That was a big story of the game. Some of the fouls that they committed, we took the ball out of bounds, but eventually, when you foul, that works against your team. And, that's happened to us quite a bit this year. But we were the beneficiary of their fouls. But no, we were ready to play. And, maybe we didn't play our best early, But I tell you what, the last 24, 26 minutes, I thought we played very hard together and well. And I also want to credit Kerr Kriisa. I mean, you can see he has a spirit to him. You know, he's against the odds right now, in that, you know, he's just starting his career when everybody is about 75% into the season. So I thought he made a big difference. We were able to rest James. We were able to rest Terrell. You saw Kerr made the three, drew another charge. He's a tough kid. He reminds me a lot of TJ McConnell. And it's nice to have him out there. It really is. I wish we would have had him all year, but we're glad to have him now.
Yeah, well, were you surprised that he jumps in front of McKinley Wright and picks up that charge? I mean, that's not a easy thing to do, I wouldn't think. That, you know, or and in that situation, I mean, did you?
No, he's a tough kid, and we knew that about him. You know, he practices with us all the time, and he's only going to get better with more game experience.
And I was wondering, on that last play, your last possession, you had Kerr kind of flared out towards the corner, and then you had, of course, Terrell drove it inside. I mean, you're down two. I know a lot of times down two, you'll like to drive and get a shot or a foul. Is that kind of, was that your first choice to have Terrell take it in, or what were you kind of setting up for that last one?
Yeah, I mean, we really had kind of a clear out set for James, but the court was spread and they just denied him at 40 feet. So, you know, you deny him that high out on the court, it really allowed Terrell to get a good straight line drive. And, you know, he did what he was supposed to, and great drive, got a foul, and, you know, wasn't able to convert both free throws, but, you know, that was a good play. You know, you always want to get a hard drive and have a chance to win it. You know, back at Stanford, when they called I think a charge on that play, you know, that call could have gone either way, and same type of game, you know, you win a hard fought game on the road. But again, like Stanford, which was a long time ago, we might've got off to a slower start, but we really rallied and played together. And, you know, tonight we did the same thing.
I don't see any other questions here. I was just wondering if you could follow up on Ben. You mentioned Ben took ownership. Did you have any conversation with him over the last day or so where you kind of saw something click with him that he was going to be ready for this, or was it just something that happened in the game?
No, I mean, there's nobody that can play well as a college basketball player if you know your mind's not right, or you know if you're not thinking about the right things. You know, in fairness to Ben, he's 18 years old, and this is a huge adjustment and challenge. You know, he's somebody that scored 31 points in a Pac-12 game. He's starting at Arizona. And whether you're a freshman at 18 or you're a senior, you know, there's some responsibility that goes with that it's not always going to go your way. You're not always going to have a big night, but your team needs you to be a great teammate. You know, you have to be a good defensive player, offensive player. And really over the last 2 weeks, you know, Ben's also been simultaneously battling an ankle injury that hasn't allowed him to practice. And then, you know, in the Stanford game, you know, he wasn't nearly 100%. So we've worked with him in that capacity as well. But he wasn't who I believe he really is against Utah. And it was good for him to have those talks. Yes, he had 2 or 3 really hard talks with me, but it's not to hurt his feelings. It's to develop him, to teach him, to get him right, to prepare him for things to come. You know, it's this road as an athlete at this level is not always going to be smooth. And hopefully it's a lesson he learned on this trip. He certainly responded well tonight. I thought he played an excellent game.
Thanks.
All right, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you.